Hello, 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 hello. Hello, guys. How are all of you? I hope you're all well in this crazy, crazy time, right? And it's 2021. It's my very first live of the year. And I wanted to create these conversations for us to have ongoing sessions where we can chat to some really smart people, chat to some people that have something really great for us to listen to, people who can share some insights, and people that can really shed some light in a crazy, crazy time. So I think that these are going to be quite useful. Give me a wave if you're in the house so I know that you're here. I see it's Handile, Sophie, you're here. Hello, hello. I see you. Thank you so much for joining this conversation that we're having today about coming back stronger. And I think that the person we've got on this live today is really going to help me set off this particular sequel, as I can call it, on fire. I think that he is someone who's going to help us get it, started on a bang, so that we can really start to understand what do we do to make sure that after 2020 punched us in the face? When I advertise this on Instagram, I use that Mike Tyson quote. Everybody has a plan until they're punched in the mouth, and then your plan goes out the window. So that's really what our conversation today is all about. It's what do we do to make sure that even when we are punched in the mouth, we come back stronger? How do we still set ourselves up to climb higher, be better, deliver more, and just be our best selves in 2021? So let me introduce our guest quickly, and then I'm going to bring him in. Hello, Gwati. Lovely to see you. I will be sending little waves as everyone comes in and as I see all of you. And unfortunately, if you're going to watch the recording, then you'll just have to engage with that and comment in the comment section to give us your own personal way. So my guest today is someone that I highly respect. I remember when I met him for the very first time, I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I can't wait to hear him speak, because I could just tell he had such an energy. Guys, some people just have an energy. They just have, we used to call it that thing, but I don't think anyone says that anymore. But he just has that thing. And so I thought, okay, I need to hear this guy speak. So our guest today goes by the name Siphiwe Moyo, or Spijo, as most of us may call him. So Siphiwe Moyo is known commonly as Spijo. He's an international motivational speaker. He's a facilitator, and he's also an author. But what most people don't know is that he's actually an organizational behavior specialist. So he understands and he helps organizations to really capitalize on understanding how human beings behave in groups and in organizations. He's also a faculty member at Gibbs, Henley Business School, and Wits Business School as well. Oh my goodness, wow. He's the founder and CEO at Paradigm People Solutions. Okay, so I'm going to bring him on now. There we go. I'll just review his request and then bring him to clap hands. But I think if there is one, then we can definitely make use of that now as he joins me. Yay!
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay. That intro was so amazing.
You deserve it.
Are you talking about me? Oh my word.
Yes. Siphiwe, it's funny that you share a name with Ubaba Mncane wami, my uncle. So
Yes.
sometimes I don't know, should I say malume to you or should I say
No.
Baba?
No. Spijo is fine, please. Nobody.
Is it?
Yeah, no.
Awesome. How are you though?
I'm good. It's one of those, we in those periods where you're good today and the next day you're not sure what you're up to and whatever. But I'm good today. I had one of those days where I was just playing sad music, trying to cry myself into sleep. But I'm good now. I'm in a very, very good space.
I don't know if I should take that with a pinch of salt or take you seriously.
No, it is serious, mainly because it's a rare thing for me, because I always play happy music. But I think there are certain days where you have to allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. And for me, it was one of those days. I wanted to just feel it and be in it and do not rush through some of the emotions that I was feeling. And hence, I'm feeling much better. I'm good.
That's awesome. And I love that you said that because it actually leads us right into our conversation. So 2020 was rough. And I don't like, I mean, we're in 2021, so we don't want to dwell on 2020, but it was rough. And I want to understand from you, as someone who really gets the kick out of human behavior, what did you notice about how people are coming back into 2021? Are we bringing the same kind of attitude? What are you picking up?
We are fearful. So we are so fearful of dreaming again. We want to be as reasonable as possible so that we don't get disappointed again. We are adjusting our dreams downwards because we are like, oh my goodness, maybe let me not dream as much as I used to dream. So we're on a defensive. You know, when you're watching boxing, and there's two postures that people can take in boxing. There's what we call a back foot position, where you're just absorbing every punch from the opponent. All you're trying is just to survive, and you bring absolutely no attack. And the second posture is what we call front foot position, where you're actually attacking and you're taking the fight to the opponent. I think many people are starting 2021 with the back foot posture. They don't want to try too much. They don't want to dream too much. They don't want to explore too much, just in case things fail.
And where do you think those reactions come from? Are they justified?
I think they are justified, but I also still do not think it's the best way. You know, I think I had a quote from, I can't remember who that guy. Who's the guy that wrote Art of War? Sun Tzu or something. Do you remember?
Yes, Sun Tzu.
Yeah, something like that.
Lao Tzu, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So one of the things he says is that the best form of defense is actually to attack, right? Because when you are sitting, just parking the bus and trying to absorb pressure from every side, just trying to survive, it's not the best way to start a year. It's not the best way to focus on your dreams. But I think they are justified. I don't think they're the best strategy, but you kind of understand why people do that. Because as you say, 2020 was really, really rough. And people are trying to regulate their emotions. You know, when you probably won't understand this, but when you have a girl you love, and then but you've already decided, good, I ain't gonna, you know, I probably won't win, she's not in my league. And then you don't even ask, you don't even shoot your shot. So I think many people are so fearful that they don't even want to shoot their shot. And me, I'm thinking, let's shoot our shot, guys. Let's go for it.
Yes, I love that. I see the corporate athlete. You've just given us the author. Thank you so much, Sun Tzu. So that's the one we were just talking about just now. Thanks so much. So Siphiwe, I'm actually on a workout session thing at the moment where I do crunches and a whole core routine every night, every morning. But and what I've noticed is when I've told myself that I just can't do it, at some point there's this little, they call it beast mode, that just comes up and you find that you just keep going beyond what you thought. So I want to hear from you, how much comeback power does the human being actually have in them?
Oh, we have a huge comeback power. But, you know, when people talk about the fact that it's mind is so powerful, and sometimes we think it's an exaggeration, it's not. So one of the best research that I've ever found around comebacks is the fact that the number one factor in how we stage remarkable comebacks is so just the belief in your own abilities to launch that comeback is a huge factor. Because generally people, and most of the time when we talk about self-efficacy, believe in yourself, people think it's just motivational speaker mambo jumbo. But it's actually science that people who do have that high self-efficacy, when they fail or when they have a year like we've had, they don't personalize failure. So they depersonalize it so much and say, No, I'm not a failure. I just had a bad year, right? And that depersonalization allows you mentally to be able to launch a comeback. So we have it in us. It's just that many of us personalize failure so much. Many of us trying out things. You know, when you apply for a job and you get no after no after no, to a point where you start believing that you're never going to get your job, and you become a discouraged job seeker. You no longer even try. You no longer even attempt. That's the problem. But otherwise, we have a huge comeback power, in my view.
What does it look like when we personalize? Do you personalize failure? Do you have examples of that we know, so people can tick boxes and go, oh my goodness, I've done that, or that's me, or that's how I'm living?
Yeah, so let's say around 2020, you work for a company that had to let go 50 people, right? Unfortunately, because of the effects of COVID-19, and you were one of the 50 people. If you personalize failure, you start saying, I was retrenched because I am a failure, because I'm stupid, because nothing ever goes right with me. Everything always goes wrong for me. Always goes wrong for me. I am a failure. But if you are someone who knows how to depersonalize failure, and depersonalizing failure is about being objective. So it's not denial, right? It's not like it's not like me going to the mirror and say, I'm thin, because I'm not. So that part is denial. But depersonalization is objectively looking at the reasons why something happened in the first place. So when they've let go 50 people at work because of the effects of COVID-19, you can't tell me that all 50 people were stupid. Objectively, you should understand that it is because of the digitization, the automation that has happened because of COVID-19. It cannot be that it's me. And if you can depersonalize it, then you have the psychological resources to launch a comeback, because it has not eroded your self-esteem. But if you've personalized it and you say, it's because I'm dumb, then you don't even have the self-confidence to start again. So depersonalizing it is such an important thing that we all need to do.
That is absolute fire. You know, you just remind me of a concept of the levels of consciousness, where the first level of consciousness is everything is happening to me, and this is happening to me, and the boss is shouting at me, and this is falling apart, like it's happening to me. But then as you go higher on the levels of consciousness, you start to detach, and you say, that's happening for me. So how can I capitalize on that and use it for my upliftment? Wow, that is so amazing. I felt that. So what do we start to do? Now let's talk.
Oh, my word.
Do you? I absolutely encourage everyone else as well to go in and find a little bit more about this stuff, because obviously we can't cover everything. But if you do have questions for Siphiwe, or you do have questions we can engage on and topics, please do let me know in the comments. I will read those as we go on with the conversation to make sure everyone is covered. I love the comments that are coming through. But if there are tools that you hear, really understand how that tool is going to fit into your context, because you're the one that needs to practice it, and it needs to have some type of value for you specifically. Do you have any tips or strategies that we can start to put into place? And I mean, we've got the rest of the time to spend on this, so it's about 10 or so minutes just to really give us the juice. And I think anyone can comment, ask questions, and let's spend the rest of this time really just engaging about practical tips that we can start to implement from tonight.
All right, cool. First of all, I think for me, one of the things I've learned is that just manage your mental health very jealously. Very, very jealously. You are absolutely nothing without a sound mind during a pandemic. So as I was saying, I was very honest today. As I was saying, when I wasn't feeling well today, I had to just sit and find myself again. Look, I'm a very happy dude, like 95% of the time. But when it hits me so hard, and I'm able to just manage myself, take that walk, take the the exercises that you talk about. Find the sunlight, find the sunshine, find whatever makes you to have that kind of sound mind and detach from work. One of the things that we know is that this blurred line between weekday and weekend is taking a serious toll on our mental health. So first of all, you want to just detach and have that sound mind and be able to be clear, because we underestimate that detachment that we need to have from our work. So that's number one. Second thing, which is a little bit counterintuitive for me, is that many people think that in order for you to launch a comeback and have that mental fortitude to launch a comeback, you must not face reality head on. In other words, it's almost like you must lie to yourself and say things are hunky-dory, this is going to end now. But contrary to that, research actually tells us that if you expect things to change too quickly and they don't, you are not able to launch that comeback easy. So in your mind, you actually have to plan for a long haul, that we're in this thing for a long haul. Yes, it will pass, but in your mind, you prepare as if we're in this thing for a while. And I remember that's the first thing that hit me hard in 2020, because I was like, you know what, I'm going to buy a temporary lamp because we're going back very quickly. We're going back to in-person events very, very quickly. And then, so the longer something takes, it then erodes your hope to launch that comeback. So just plan and say, look, 2021 is going to be a year when we live with the virus. And so that you understand in your mind that you don't have to be in this tentative mindset that it's going to stop now. But then you are able to plan better. Then you are able to adapt better instead of hoping that things will change quickly. So the other ingredient of launching a comeback is obviously adaptability. And the main thing that you need to have to adapt is to say, no, this thing is going to sit with us for a while. If I have to paint the room that I'm working in to make it now look like permanent place, do so, because for your mental health, that's good. If you keep hoping that next week the president will say the virus is gone and it does not go, you start again, and you go through that change curve again. Then you are shocked again. Yep. Then you are in denial again, which is not good for you.
I love those, and I see lots of agreements in our comments. People saying it's so true, and I think that they really are starting to see that those are tips that they've probably practiced, or they can see just how relevant those could be to their own lives. See, Hazy B, you say you have a good sense of reality. That is that's actually so profound what you've just said, Siphiwe, and I found it to be quite real in my own life as well. That dose of reality is actually so important for people who want to actually stay present but make and affect change. It's so important, because how else do you plan for the future going ahead if you're coming out of reality? And that's what most people think they can expect from motivational speakers. I don't know, you've been on the back end or on the not so great end of this motivational speaker fluff, where people think you just, affirmations, you're that guy just telling everyone, So maybe it's time to debunk all
Yes,
of that.
That's true. No, it's true. That's why motivation that is also motivation that's also not backed by science is a little bit dangerous, because it's like when you go, if you're a religious person and the pastor says you're gonna have an incredible year, receive, and then the year is not incredible.
Oh,
and then you have this cognitive dissonance, because yes, the year is supposed to be good, but it's not, So, but at least when motivation is based on science, we know in science what actually, what optimism is about. And one of the ingredients is to understand and have a good sense of reality, and be honest and face. It's like when you're broke
Yeah.
You don't say, no, I'm a little bit illiquid. You are not helping yourself when you say that. You say you are broke. And then you have an ability to improve and do something about it.
So I guess language.
I really think.
So I'm just saying, sorry to jump in while you were speaking. I'm just thinking that maybe language does play a very big part in it. And being your own motivator does play a big part of it. So how do we make sure that we are our own cheerleader, even in the times when, when it's not going so well? What are some of the key phrases? I mean, a lot of people have, I have like every time I do something that I know I've been working hard at getting to do, whether I'm working on building a new habit, I always give myself a literal, now I'm exposing myself that I'm a little strange, but I always give myself a virtual high five. And I go, good girl, well done.
Yes.
Because I know what that does for me. It reinforces that behavior. So is there anything you can recommend like that? Maybe little phrases or little quirky things that we can do to be our own cheerleaders or motivators?
Oh, that's absolutely critical. So my two favorite ones that I do for me, so I have two phrases. The one is from a song that I learned from a guy called Prokit, Ungapheli Moya son. So, I literally just sit there and say, Ungapheli Moya son, because it's just helped me to keep going. So even if I can use fancy language when I speak to clients, when I really need to speak to myself, I encourage myself, Ungapheli Moya, because I think that's absolutely critical to help myself keep going. In fact, that's the main phrase that I do. The other one is even not critical. So we do that. But the other important thing for me, Zanele, is to understand, to fight the correct fight the right fight. So all of us know that, we're in a point where we need to be fighting to survive and so on. But I think we fight the wrong fight. We fight to preserve our professions instead of just fighting to preserve our way of living. And let me make an example. There are certain professions that are not going to survive the global pandemic. They're just not. Just like there are certain professions that didn't survive the global financial crisis of 2008 because of the digital transformation. So I remember 2009, I used to run a music shop. So I used to have a side gig where I had a music shop. We sold CDs and DVDs. And afterwards, it failed, And for a very long time, I thought it was the global financial crisis that caused that to fail. But when I look back now, I realize that whether the global financial crisis happened or it didn't happen, that business was going to fail because we were going to move to the digital streaming of music and so on. So sometimes we hold on to things that we should not be holding on to. Fight the correct fight to preserve your livelihood. That's the word I was looking for. Fight to preserve your livelihood. It's not your profession necessarily. If a certain profession has to die after the pandemic, let it die without you. It shouldn't. Why should you get involved? This idea that I will always be an HR person, and if HR dies, it dies with me. I know, I refuse. I'm gonna adapt, do something else. If the profession must die, it must die alone. So fighting the correct fight is such an important thing for me.
That reminds me of this phrase, be strict about your goal and what is it? Be strict about your goal and be nimble about your methods, something like that. So it's about keeping the end in mind, but then be flexible about how you're going to actually get there.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're saying. Okay, so we're now nearing the end. Siphiwe, do you have any closing words, any big punches to end off this conversation?
Yeah, so just the idea that one of the ways we also become optimistic, guys, is to understand that adversity is temporary, right? Even though there's this book by Nassim Taleb, I want to close with that. There's this book that Nassim Taleb that talks about anti-fragile businesses or anti-fragile, yes, and says even in adversity there careers that are going to be fragile. They break under adversity. Some will be robust. They will remain the same after this adversity. But some will be anti-fragile, which means they will grow even further after this pandemic. And I don't know about you, but I choose anti-fragile, man. Let's go out there and grow our careers, even in tough times.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Guys, if you have any questions, you've got a few seconds literally left to ask any of those questions, and then I can direct them towards Spijo and we can have a quick jab at those. So I see I'm going to look at the comments so long while I wait for those questions. Fight the correct fights. Yes, people are really taking your phrases on, hey? I feel like they're going to be on T-shirts very soon. You better watch out, Spijo. You have to ask for commission.
Oh, that's so cool.
Language and framing, yes. Language does play a vital role. Great, guys. It looks like there is some value gained from this. Name of the book, please. Oh, yes. Spijo, do you have, let me ask you as well, do you have a book that you know about consciousness? Someone was asking in the comments for a book on consciousness. Let me see. I can have a look here.
I can't think of any, hey? Consciousness.
Yeah. I also can't think of anything right now. Nsane, I do see you though, and I know that it's you. What I'll do is I will send you a DM after this, and give you possibly just a few if they come back to me at all. But thank you so much. Okay, I see Sophie, you say thank you so much, guys. Let's keep the conversation once weekly. Absolutely awesome. I look forward to seeing you here as well. With some laughs too. Spijo, you're a funny guy. How do you even, like, guys, I'm not even lying when I say this. Serious corporate keynotes. Spijo is there making people laugh. I don't give it. And it comes so naturally to you. How do you do that?
It does, man. I don't know. It's one of those gifts, you know. In fact, many people were like, you should even consider comedy. I'm like, nah. That's not for me. I just want to hold a joke or two while I'm doing this. It's a totally different ball game when you want to make people laugh forever. But yeah.
Good points. Yeah. Danewa has a question. She says, how differently are you approaching 2021 as compared to how you approached 2020? I think that's a good question. Thanks, Danewa. It's good.
For me, I'm on attack mode. I'm not on defense mode. So I am not sitting there trying to protect what I have. I am going after my dreams, literally. I think what happened in 2020 is that we were caught off guard, and therefore we had to be on defense mode. I think now I'm on attack mode. I'm going after my dreams. I'll still do it as safely as possible from my home, because that's also critical. But I am definitely going after my dreams. I am not on defense mode at all.
No compromise. I love that. That actually just hit me hard. We've got another question. And just before I go to this question, Spijo just reminded me of something I was thinking about today. I always give the example of, and I'm not married, but I always give the example of when you wake up next to someone, you literally have to choose them every single day in order for you to remain with that person. And I think that analogy, I often streamline it across different contexts because it works exactly the same with your dream. And I love what you're saying. I'm actually going to steal it now, being on attack mode, because you literally have to wake up every single morning, look your dream in the face and choose it again. Like even if you roll over and your wife has got in her eyes and, she doesn't look as cute as she did once in a while, or your husband, but you have to choose it every single day. So that's how you make it. That's how you stay committed and you make it last. Okay, there's a question. It says, strategies on a final year student stuck in a degree they hate. Oh, I think we're getting pretty deep. Maybe we should, I don't know, Spijo, if you have something for this, you can answer. He says, best way to start over when funds and time are not on your side.
No. Don't start over. Finish your degree. If you're on fourth year, please finish it. One of the things I tell people, and I've been in corporate HR for a while, so I know this, is once you should never think that your degree is a waste of time. Never, ever. Even if that's not what you want to do afterwards, when you are so late into it, finish it. And then what you can do afterwards is to mine certain skills within the degree that you can package for what you love. So there are certain things that you are learning within that degree that even if you're not going to go for that profession, but you're probably learning critical thinking, you're probably learning problem solving, you're probably learning a few things in that degree that eventually when you finish, you can just package those skills and go sell them somewhere else in the field that you want to field. So the field that you love to do. So please never feel that you've wasted time. You haven't finished that degree. It's actually going to be worth it.
Oh, very nice. Very great advice, especially in a time when we're hearing something so contrary to that at the moment, right? So many people telling us.
Especially on your fourth year. I mean, what do you do on your fourth year? Don't stop, you know. Yeah. Finish it. It's not gonna be a waste.
Awesome. Siphiwe, thank you so much for your time. It has been such a pleasure to have you. I mean, I wish this conversation could go on into the late night. And you can play us your awesome music that you're always dancing to, and we can all just dance.
You should see what I have.
I always watch your videos.
Is our time up?
Yes.
Is our time up? Why was it so quick?
Do you want to give a bit of a...
We'll do it again. You know when you try, you know when you've done something nice and then you stretch it unnecessarily and then it gets boring.
And then you spoil it.
We'll do it another time.
Okay. It's like when you're playing outside and your parents are like, "Ay, bonzoli mal, kono kal." Then you know, then it's about to be. It's going to be sour after that. Okay, I absolutely understand.
It will.
But thank you so much for your time, Siphiwe. Thank you so much, guys. If you still have further questions, please remember that you can DM Siphiwe. If you're not following him already, please, where have you been? Make sure you go over to his page. He's consistently sharing some very uplifting content. He shares, whether it's in the form of a quote, whether it's a story, whether it's something encouraging, or whether it's a dance video, like I said. It's always something that's going to lift your spirits and keep you coming back stronger, especially this year at a time when all of us need it. So like I said earlier, these conversations are going to be happening weekly as far as I can manage, obviously. We've got individuals that are absolutely awesome to come and speak to us, like Mac from Jacaranda, Shelly Walters, and then I'm also going to be having an interesting guest at Siphiwe, you know, Ross Saunders. He's going to be speaking to us about what's up with WhatsApp. So many people are going, should I delete my WhatsApp, should I not? And Ross, being a privacy cybersecurity expert, is going to be sharing with us, what do we do about that? And what are some of the really crazy things that most of us don't understand that are actually happening in them? Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. And please buy Siphiwe's books. Siphiwe, what are some of your titles? And where can people get your books?
So my latest book is called Your Next Move, Career Strategies to Survive and Thrive during COVID-19 and Beyond. That's at Exclusive Books and Bargain Books. And the one before that is called Stagnation Must Fall. That's at Exclusive Books. Those are the two that's at bookstores. The first two are off print right now. So buy any of those two. And those who are following me and not Zanele, please follow Zanele as well. She's dishing out some great content. Please do. Absolutely. Have I ever told you a story of the first time I saw you? Do you know?
At PSA thing.
In Durban.
Yes. You didn't tell me the story though. I heard it from Graham.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Oh my goodness. I was sitting there thinking, what's going on? What kind of a speaker is this? No. I'm your fan. So it's such a great honor to be here. I remember on that day you were in a hurry because you were gonna go back to some gig about Tababi's. And then I was like, she's going, I can't even ask her. That was amazing. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
This was a pleasure. We're definitely going to do this again. Thank you so much, guys. Bye for now.